FLkey 49 and 61 have 9 vertical faders and 9 buttons below the faders that can perform a variety of functions. I have a pattern going in FL Studio, and I want to use the faders to mix the levels of my sounds. First, hold Shift and select the button labeled Mixer Volume. This gives me control over the mixer lanes. The mixer left and right buttons will shift control to the next bank of 8 mixer lanes. The rightmost fader will always control your master volume. There's another mixing mode called channel volume. This differs from mixer volume because it changes the levels of the sounds in the channel rack before it hits the mixer. The faders can also control parameters in a plugin. Let's select our synth by tapping the pad. Hold Shift and hit the button named Plugin. Now the faders are controlling parameters in the synth. The faders have a custom mode that can send CC values out of the MIDI output into your DAW, or can be custom mapped within FL Studio. Let's map the phaser effect to a fader, since it isn't mapped in plugin mode by default. Right-click the parameter you want to control and select Link to Controller. Move the fader you want to use and it will be automatically mapped. Now let's talk about mute and solo modes. While in mixer volume mode, the mute solo button will affect the mixer. If it is in channel volume mode, it will affect the channel rack. Buttons that are lit are active mixer lanes, and I can mute them by tapping the buttons. Tap again to unmute. Solo works a little differently. Press and hold the mute solo button and tap a button to solo that track. Tap it again to unsolo it. The buttons under the faders also have a custom mode that can send out custom MIDI messages from FLkey.